All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our second of four Supporting the Travel Industry webinar series. I'm Scott Halstead, and on behalf of the Destinations Travel and Leisure team, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us today. We understand the travel industry is dealing with many issues, so our team surveyed thousands of travel professionals to see what topics are most important to discuss. The webinar series continues every Wednesday between now and June 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, covering COVID-19 related topics in marketing, sales, and consumer behavior. To see the full list and a replay of the past discussion and today's discussion, please visit our website at thedestinationshow.com. That's thedestinationshow.com. I want to thank our partners, Austin Adventures, Jack's Facts Travel Marketing, Outdoor Writers Association of America, Travel Business Success, and Wonderful. Before we get started, let me set the stage. Our two hosts are discussing COVID-19 social media tips for the travel industry. All of your cameras and microphones will be muted and blocked. You can ask questions by asking questions inside the chat box, and our host will be taking your questions as we go. Now, if we don't get to your questions, don't worry about it. We will be sending an email with the video of today's presentation and the Lauren and Lyssa's contact information, and they will email you back. So let me introduce you to our two speakers, Lauren Mehta and Lyssa Goldberg. Lauren Mehta and Lyssa Goldberg are co-owners of Meta Media LLC, a Boston-based social media agency that runs the social media for 50+ businesses locally and nationally with clients like Microsoft, Greystar, and Eastern Insurance. Lauren and Lyssa both went to Boston University and got their start as journalists at Dig Boston, an alt weekly paper in Boston. Their backgrounds in writing have been instrumental in the mission of the social media business they built together, telling the authentic stories and showing the personalities of all types of businesses. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome Lauren Mehta and Lyssa Goldberg.
Cool, thanks so much, Scott.
No problem.
All right. Okay, so we're excited to talk to you guys today about social media for the travel industry. We just wanted a quick start with who we are. Thanks, Scott, for the intro, but just a little bit more about Meta Media. So we started the company in 2013, and our mission is to help all different kinds of businesses tell their stories online. So right now, Lyssa and I are the co-owners of the company, and we have a team of 15. And like Scott said, we work with more than 50 different clients locally and nationally. So we think that our perspective is kind of interesting on this. I mean, we do work with a lot of hospitality clients, like a lot of restaurants. We got our start with hospitality, so we still love working with them. We're also proud to be partners of New England Inns and Resorts and the Massachusetts Lodging Association. So we've done a couple webinars with them about social media as well for the travel industry. We also do the social media for Hotel Commonwealth, the official hotel of the Boston Red Sox. So that's kind of like our travel, hospitality, hotel experience. But then, like Scott said, we do work with more than 50 different businesses. So we've kind of seen the whole COVID-19 situation affect all of the businesses that we work with at Meta Media. And we've had to pivot, not pause our social media strategies to adjust during these unprecedented times. So here's a couple more of our clients. Let me just keep going. So the first thing we like to stress during these webinars is social media right now is at an all-time high. It's free to post on. It can be an unbelievably strong marketing tool and resource during this time. You guys have probably seen this, but when everyone's on lockdown and shelter in place, it's actually one of the only forms of communication that we've had, both people and businesses, to be able to connect right now. Your followers are online more than ever right now. Social media is literally bringing people together. So you can see this stat that we have here that we've been sharing. I think it's actually increased from this too, but Facebook and Instagram have seen, I think, a 60% increase at this point due to COVID-19, with views on Instagram Live and Facebook Live doubling in 1 week when it first started. So it's a huge platform for getting your messages out there right now. We like to stress you can't afford to stop marketing or selling. That includes posting on social media. The worst thing you could do right now is go totally dead online, especially with everyone consuming social media so much right now. And the last thing we always note is people are using social media in new ways to come together, to stay connected, share helpful advice, and support local businesses. So those kind of like new creative ways to adjust your strategies. We have a ton of ideas coming up for the travel industry of what you guys can be doing on social.
Yeah, and then just to dive a little bit more into what we'll cover today, a lot of our slides here are a lot of just to help cultivate a new audience of engaged followers, and then also just keep your current followers engaged. There is a lot right now you could be doing to build relationships with these customers. You might not be able to be actively selling for this quarter or this year, whatever it is. I know this industry is really, really affected, unfortunately, but you can take advantage of everyone being online to cultivate lasting relationships. So in terms of what we'll cover today, we have sharing virtual experiences. This is something, honestly, when I was kind of researching just the whole industry a little bit more and looking at like top travel bloggers and travel company social and stuff like that, everyone's doing the virtual experiences. This is actually the number one thing I've seen, whether it's you're presenting your own virtual experiences or you're sharing just like other ones from museums or cities or, whatever it is. Other things we're going to cover today: how to spark wanderlust, how to spark that love of travel in your followers and kind of keep them remembering why they love to travel. Collaborating with travel influencers, those with really large followings, in order to get your brand and follow in front of more people. Turning past customers into advocates now more than ever, so important. Promoting local travel and staycations. I've done a lot of research and I'm sure you guys know this as well. It does seem like local travel, staycation, day trip type of stuff is where people are going to venture first before they're more comfortable kind of flying. So we're going to hop into that. And then also we'll round out with some general Facebook and Instagram advertising overviews. Of course, with all of this, we tailor these webinars to kind of just like a basic level, because we just don't know how much experience everyone here has. So if you ever want to build upon any of these ideas, or if you have any questions, please let us know. And yes, thank you, Scott. Just a reminder, everyone I'll be fielding questions every time like Lauren talks. I'll like look at the chat thing because she's sharing her screen. So if you have any questions, I'll be monitoring it. So just feel free to enter it in the chat, and we'll answer throughout the presentation. You don't have to wait for the end or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think Scott afterwards said he's going to send everything out and send our information out too. So if you have any follow-up questions, want to set up a call, we're always around.
Yep, always around. Okay. So, social media is especially crucial for the travel industry right now. Like Lauren said, we do work with many different industries, and we've seen the range in which you're being affected. Of course, these are unprecedented times, and the travel and hospitality industries are two of the most affected by COVID. Again, like Lauren was saying, but I just feel like this honestly is the biggest thing to emphasize. There's so many people who get scared by this or want to stop posting, don't know what the right thing to say. Really, like Lauren was saying, the worst thing you can do is go dead. So maintaining an active, engaging presence right now can make all the difference when it comes to ramping back up business once customers can travel again. I found this kind of cool quote on a COVID related tourism article. The current restrictions on travel have not quenched people's desire to explore the world. People will continue to want landmarks locally and globally that satisfy their need to explore new vistas, visit historic landmarks, and experience other cultures. This was the case after the SARS epidemic, when travel surged in 2004. So it is just something to think about. People still want to travel. It's not gone just because there might be hesitant right now.
Yeah, they actually probably, I want to travel more than ever right now. I would like to leave my apartment and travel somewhere. So.
Some more reasons to pivot and not pause. Lauren used this term before. We're obsessed with pivoting, not pausing, both while businesses were closed, then especially when you're reopening, like more than ever, you need to be communicative. Social media is the first place customers go to get informed. They'll usually they look at your website, but then they'll be like, I wonder what's going on right now with them, and then they'll go to your social, and then they'll follow you, and then it's all about what you post on social in order to maintain that relationship and actually create an engaging relationship. So they do rely on your business to figure out what their travel options are, whether you're open, in what fashion, what precautions you're taking, any kind of specials, promotions, whatever it is. Social media is the least expensive form of marketing. You can have a very big social impact using a very small budget, and we'll kind of get into this our last section when we talk about advertising. You may not be you may not be able to do business as usual, but you can form relationships with potential customers, which is something I was saying before, very, very important. And I mean, your image is really everything. Social media is the only place where you can control your image, help your customers feel confident in keeping their travel plans, advertise to your target market, etc. And then I just put as a fun little visual here, a screenshot from DA Luxury Travel, talking about one of those virtual experiences that I told you like everyone's doing right now. This is one they set up themselves. They did a little virtual live culinary series with like travel partners, and clients can meet over a meal in different kitchens all around the world. So it's just, you know, when people can't travel, a lot of it is like bringing the experience to them, which is really cute. So. So some general social media tips, you know, I'm sure to some of you, these are so obvious, but I just wanted to, and then to some of you, they might be surprising. I just wanted to include them. Just again, we're never sure exactly what your level of expertise and experience is. So general social tips, figure out where your target demographic spends their time, which channel. You know, obviously Instagram is so huge for anything visual, any kind of visual industry. So travel, hello. Hospitality, hotels, restaurants, fashion, you know, Instagram is really, really huge. But then again, if you have an audience that's perhaps a little older, they're not as familiar with Instagram, they might be spending more time on Facebook. Just figuring out where your audience spends their time will help inform your strategy. And then when you're thinking about what time you want to publish a post on each of your social media channels, both Facebook and Instagram have very user-friendly, easy, on-app analytics that you could just easily pull and see what time your audience is engaged, what time they're actually like logged into the app, everything like that. This one we always suggest, even if it's very, very simple, just creating like an overall content calendar with any general post ideas you have, just so it's like you're not just randomly throwing up a post when, you know, willy-nilly. When you have time, you really want to make sure you're staying organized and everything you're posting kind of goes back to your overall goals. Why are you posting on social, and how is that post helping you get to that goal? We suggest posting at least 2 to 3 times a week on all your channels. This is something that's a little bit more of around the clock, monitoring for DMs, for direct messages, comments, etc. Engagement and customer service are always key. I think especially right now when people are using social media to engage and form relationships, they are talking more to businesses and brands. We've seen this with a lot of media customers. So they may be reaching out via message or comment to ask you questions, and the last thing you want to do is ignore them. Make social, make it a two-way conversation, asking questions and captions, utilizing Instagram story stickers. We love Instagram stories here at Metter. They're so great for engagement. High quality imagery only. The worst thing, you know, you can do. I mean, we always say if you're going to post to social, either do it well or don't do it at all. Like if you're posting a really low res, kind of like sad picture, you know, like an ugly picture, no one wants to see that. It's just going to make your brand look bad. Just make sure when you are, if you're regramming or whatever it is, sharing a photo, just make sure it's high quality photography or imagery. Even just like a really nice iPhone pic always works. And then engage with hashtags. We included, oh no, I just linked them. But you can just browse the top tourism industry hashtags in this link. And again, you'll be in the deck after, so you'll be able to access that. And just kind of engage with hashtags, go search them on Facebook and Instagram, comment with people and everything like that. Just join the tourism conversation online. Really, really important. So we did get a question, Lauren.
Okay.
We lead small group tours in Europe and are very active on Facebook and also on Instagram. Most of our travelers are 60 to 75. Many are active on Facebook, but some are not. What stats do you have about this demographic and their involvement on social media? I agree. Facebook is where your audience is going to live. They're not as much on Instagram. I think it's good that you have an Instagram set up as well, and that you're very active on it. I don't have stats off the top of my head. I could rattle off about the 60 plus demo. I do know that they are on Facebook. I know it's like the boomer generation and up. They're on Facebook. I think they're
actually
very
a lot of like 65 plus people on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't have like, you know, I don't know percentages off the top of my head, but they're very engaged on Facebook. I think they all feel very comfortable on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
They like to comment on their family's photos and share posts and,
Yeah.
you know, brands that they love. So
So
I
that's
definitely think for you, Kathy, Facebook is the way to go. I agree.
definitely. All right. What to post on social media to keep your followers engaged and grow your audience? So share virtual experiences. Okay. So this is something we've been seeing a lot, and this is really cool. It kind of satisfies people's thirst for the wanderlust from within their house, just getting these virtual experiences. So from your social media pages, you can share free virtual experiences happening around the world. Like we've seen lots of museum tours, you know, zoos, concerts, webinars, panel discussions, performances, anything. They're happening all over right now. And people are loving tuning in on this. Like I've even seen like, you know, panda babies, like you can tune into them live at the zoo, like playing for hours, and people are finding this kind of thing cathartic and like satisfying their desire to travel. So these are all things that you could try. Try sharing various experiences to suit families, individuals, and couples, depending on your target demographic. So again, like Lyssa was saying, always think about who's my key target here and what would they be interested in, and then share stuff like that. And then sharing free and public experiences or creating your own like Austin Adventures, virtual adventures for kids program. So you could even think about this, like what kind of adventures, like say you had that tourism company, you know, that's all over and you have this like 65 plus demo. So why don't you could do like Facebook Live tours, you know, or you could even find tours of some of the places that you would take, you know, your people on tours and adventures and just share those on your social media. So I actually heard from one of our, we're doing a webinar coming up with the Boston Design Center, which is basically like, you know, luxury home type of suppliers and things like this. So a little bit different of an industry, but they made a really good comment that like now that everything's virtual with like webinars and you know, it actually opens up the possibilities of the things that you can share. Because like maybe before you were only able to like, you know, get local people on your travel webinar, but now that you know, you have access to everyone across the globe. So you could reach out to like some travel influencers that maybe you haven't worked with yet, partner with them and just set up these unique virtual experiences.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where like if you can't, like, I mean, I obviously we recommend like trying to set some up with just utilizing whatever resources you may have. But if you're unable to, just share other ones. You know, there are other virtual experiences out there, again, in destinations that I'm sure you guys specialize in. So
Absolutely. And then I like this example that Lyssa included in here. A big thing that you've probably been seeing a lot right now is the whole mindfulness, like meditation, like yoga thing, because people are just needing to get like out of the headspace of the shelter in place. So maybe finding some of these kind of like more Zen experiences to share for your followers would be very helpful at this time. Okay. So local food and drink features can be fun. So
yeah.
restaurants
Well,
and bars.
also besides meditating, they also like to eat and drink. Right. I saw, you know, I'm sure you guys have seen that too. Liquor stores are booming. That is one industry that has been positively affected by this.
And I think the restaurants, you know, people are really missing that in-person experience. Like I know we talk about this all the time, Lyssa, of like our Friday lunches, like, and just like being served, like I just want to sit at a table and be served and get drinks and food from someone. We can't do that right now, but people are craving this, just like they're craving the travel. So what restaurants and bars from all over the world have been doing is taking to social media to show how to make some of their signature dishes and drinks and et cetera at home. So it kind of like provides like I've seen like Shake Shack do this. We have a couple examples in here, but it's like, here's how to make the famous Shake Shack burger like at home in your kitchen. So people can still, you know, experience the brand and still get the food. And it's like a fun way to engage your, you know, the public, as we said here. And it makes them reminisce on their times at the restaurants and bars and cafes. So what you could think about is, are there any local restaurants in the areas where your business like operates that you could collaborate with, like a popular local restaurant that has a lot of followers on Instagram? And maybe from one of your locations, you could get them to do a video, like say it's like a bartender or a chef at one of these famous restaurants, like showing how to make, you know, one of their dishes at home. Then you could share that from your social media.
Yep. They either do it live or pre-recorded. Either one works.
Mm-hmm. Very fun. Virtual tours. So if your customers can't go on a physical tour, bring the tour to them. So tour companies and guides are providing both live and pre-recorded virtual tours of the places they know and love the best. So it's kind of like when everyone's stuck at home and they just want to like escape and travel, but they can't, they can count on you and your business. They can tune in from the safety of their homes. And then you can kind of create that spark of wanderlust. So this one, let's see, what's this one, Lyssa?
So this is like this local woman. I don't even know where she's located. Madrid. And she's a tour guide in Madrid. And I don't even think, I think she's like a one-woman show. You know what I mean? She's not, she doesn't have a company. She's kind of like a with locals type of thing. And she was just doing tours and virtual tours from home.
Oh, cool.
Like in Madrid, but but like broadcasting it so that her whole audience could see it.
And one thing we've been talking about a lot at our agency is like, now when things are starting to reopen, especially like people are going to start going out, but they're still going to be a little bit wary because of the virus and like what happened. So you could, what we're trying to do is stress more like safety precautions that we're taking like in our social media content. So basically like say you're giving like a live tour of some place, you could like be wearing a mask or something and just like, show that you're being safe about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Sparking wanderlust. So I think another thing I've seen, I think doing virtual tours helps to remind people why they love traveling. But I think just like some more specific ways is just like beautiful imagery and like literally asking questions or filling out templates or stuff like that. The whole purpose here is just encouraging your followers and audience to speak up and let the world and why they love traveling. So if you look to the right, that kind of bucket list, and it says answer using GIFs. This is an Instagram story template we posted from one of our residential properties here in Boston. It's like, I'm currently craving, I'm missing this cocktail, my weekend plans, and people could answer only using GIFs, which is kind of cute. You could change that. It could be words, it could be emojis, it could be whatever you want. But it'd be really cute to like create, and a lot of people are doing this too, Instagram story templates that users can easily screenshot and then they can share it to their own story. If you see on the bucket list screenshot we have in here, it says, and I know it's like partially covered up, but it says like template by Market Central. Market Central is the brand. So I would just include your company's name, like kind of small in the corner somewhere, so that when people are resharing your template to their stories, you're also exposing your brand to all their followers. And I know you might see something like this and you might be like, I'm not a designer, like I can't make this. A lot of Instagram, Facebook, Instagram story template like editors are offering these kind of things for free, and you could just change colors and words and stuff like that. So they really make it easy for you. 3 apps we love are Canva, Over, and Stories Edit. They're all offering, and I made sure they're all offering these kind of templates that you could customize to your branding, your colors, whatever it is. Same goes, if you don't want to, if your audience isn't huge on Instagram, maybe it's more of a Facebook demo, you can just do like fill in the blank or question feed posts that can be commented on, or people can reshare them. Also just asking questions in your caption, I think is really important. And then again, if you're going back to Instagram stories, because they are so great for engagement, polls and question stickers can really help encourage followers to actively engage, answer questions, etc. And then I also included here an example from Liberty Mutual, again, where no graphic design or anything like that was involved. They just took a really cool photo of the open road, and they just said, they used actually, because there's a national day for everything, as I'm sure as you guys have seen, there was a national Tell a Story Day. So they said, we want to hear from you, your favorite travel stories and vacation memories. What was the most memorable and why? So even just posing questions in your captions is really effective as well.
Yeah, I love the memories idea. It's great.
Yep. And speaking of memories, there's more. So just another way to like encourage followers to share memories, maybe specifically of trips that they went on using your company, asking them to share their own personal travel memories and stories. They can share their memories. You could either say like, hey, comment on our post and let us know your favorite memory of a trip you took with us, or whatever it is. Or if you want to do a step further, I'd probably incentivize this with some sort of prize if you're going to ask people to do this, but posting their own photos in their feeds and or Instagram stories and tagging you or using a certain hashtag. The reason why we always would incentivize with a prize posting a photo, which is a bigger ask than commenting on a post. And it worked. if you'll see Gurney's Resorts, I got married last June. My puppy. I got married last June at Gurney's in Newport. They've obviously been closed during this time. They're actually reopening. But they use a hashtag Gone Home with Gurney's, and they just said, share your favorite vacation memories at Gurney's, tag us and use a certain hashtag, and one winner will win a one-night stay once we reopen. So it worked, and I did it. I did not win, unfortunately, but I posted, and then, their brand was exposed to all of my followers. Just another ways to spark wanderlust. I mean, if you look at any travel company or any travel influencer, like the number one thing that you'll notice is like just beautiful travel photos. And these aren't photos, if you don't have an on-site photographer or access to beautiful photography of your own, you can definitely just repost beautiful images that you find on Instagram. Like a lot of times just search your location or search a certain tag. Follow a lot of travel bloggers, offices of tourism for certain cities, local photographers in that city. You can regram them. I would just always give them proper credit, like photo by X. And just here's some 3 beautiful photos. I tried to switch them up. So Indonesia, and the first one is actually our employee, Angela. She helped me weigh in on this webinar. She has her own little travel Instagram herself, and she loves traveling, and she's been doing a lot of these virtual experiences from home during this time. And then the second one's from Tokyo, and the third one is Mexico. Beautiful.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say this is one of the easiest tips that we have that you could start doing right away, is just finding these beautiful inspo photos of like places that you work with your travel company and sharing them on your feed. Like we do this a lot for our clients. Like for example, like we just launched like Microsoft in Atlanta, and we were like, how do we get the flavor of this local place on the Instagram feed? And we just found really cool photos from around Atlanta and credited them, of course, but then like shared it on the Instagram feed. So right when you look at it, it's like the flavor of this place.
Yep.
It's really easy to do. I mean, you're just like sourcing it from other people.
Yep.
Okay. So the next thing, turning past customers into advocates. So one thing that you can always share is positive reviews and memories. Like just like how getting past customers to share their travel memories and tag you will help spread the word about the amazing memories your business can and has created. You can do the same by, sharing these memories to your feeds. So basically, like you kind of take the concept where you host that giveaway or that contest where it's like, share your favorite travel memories with us. You get some of the best answers, and then you reshare those in like either a branded capacity, or if you ask people to share like their travel photos, you reshare their photos and credit them. And you'll be really surprised to see like you as a business, if you reshare a customer memory or like a customer travel photo and tag them and say, this is an amazing photo, they feel like you're like really listening to them and shouting them out, and it could create like a loyal customer in the future.
Yeah, people always like trust their peers over what you say. You know what I mean? So you can say we're the best, but like they're like, all right, obviously you're going to say that, it's your company. But if someone else is saying you're the best, and then you share that, it's showing other people can vouch for you.
Mm-hmm. So if you're on Yelp or if you're on, your Google page, just pull some of the best reviews and testimonials and reshare them like this. So here's a really good testimonial from Polly B about this TCS World Travel.
Yeah.
So let your fans know how they can help you for free. So this is a big thing that we've been seeing a lot. I mean, at Metter Media, we mentioned we have a lot of hospitality, like restaurant and hotel clients. And just like the travel industry, they were hit like extremely hard by COVID-19, and it's just like very, it was devastating for them. So what people, what you can encourage people to do is how can they help you? And like, how could they also help your business for free? So one thing we've been seeing that's been really cool is, spreading virtual love, like ways you can, support businesses for free. So you can let your past customers know how they can help you during this time. So it could be, they could just like your post on social media, leave you a positive review, or even book future travel plans with you guys, or rescheduling current plans. So just kind of reminding them, hashtag reschedule, don't cancel. So we really liked this example from Tailwind of how people can spread the virtual love for the travel industry right now. So shop small, reschedule your plans, donate to us, and just, communicate. Leave a review. Is that okay? I think this is you.
Yep. So the next one is collaborating with travel influencers. I mean, this is the kind of thing we would always give this as a tip, just how beautiful imagery is always a tip. Working with travel influencers is always a tip. It's just that the way you work with them now would have to obviously shift. A lot of times the travel influencers, you work with them, a lot of times people like send them on a trip either highly discounted or free, depending on how large the influencer is and how much influence they have. Obviously, you're unable to do that right now, but I think you could still work with them. I mean, just as we've seen with restaurants and foodie influencers, you guys and travel influencers, it's like a symbiotic relationship. You need each other, you know, so they're motivated to help you guys survive and get through this time as well. Because if there's no travel companies, they can't, you know, so just to kind of give a one-on-one type of thing, influencers are Instagram accounts with anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 to even 1 million plus followers. Yes, they normally have blogs as well. Like if you've seen this first example, she has her own little blog, but they don't always, you know, it used to be bloggers. Now they're just called influencers. They don't have to have a blog. They just have to have a presence on social. Their followers trust them and follow them for recommendations, advice, inspirational imagery, and more. A micro influencer, when someone uses that term, it's like an account with less than 10,000 followers. So that's the woman, Ashley, I included on the left here. Although by collaborating with a micro influencer, you're not reaching as many people. So if I worked with Ashley, I would reach around 5,000. If I worked with Francesca and Tommaso, I would reach 231,000. So obviously you would reach less with Ashley, but a benefit to it is one, you know, she's more often willing to collaborate, probably be a little bit more flexible, work for free or for trade, you know, as opposed to a lot of these larger influencers, they want monetary compensation. When you have a smaller influencer or micro influencer, their followers tend to be more loyal or niche. So they are a really engaged audience since it is a smaller audience. When looking for an influencer to reach out to, always make sure that their aesthetic and values align with your company's. So for instance, again, if you go back to Ashley, she's kind of very wholesome. You know, you could tell she is religious. She's into Disney and happiness and travel. Her photos, if you scroll through her feed, are very bright and happy and pastel. You know, that's the kind of content she's going to be producing for you. So if that works with your brand, if that is the kind of audience or follower you would want, then you would collaborate with her. The second example here is a couple. So also kind of taking that into account, you cater to a lot of couples. They're big into travel, food, lifestyle. They're really high photo quality and almost kind of like moody and high contrast. So again, just thinking about who you're working with before you decide to reach out to them. Someone did say, just to pause quickly, someone said, have you ever used contests with rewards, with awards, people giving positive reviews or sharing good photos and images? If so, what platform works for? So technically, and I mean, you guys would probably know better than me, I think it's technically illegal to say, leave us a positive review and you'll get a reward, because then it's like, people could just fake a positive review. I think you can say, leave us feedback in general. And if you don't like specify what it is, I think that's fine. I think we've done it. We said like, leave us a review on Yelp or TripAdvisor. And maybe, and you know what we say sometimes to kind of make it more PC or whatever is share your feedback on TripAdvisor or Yelp and you'll get a gift card or something like that. So you could do that. Someone said, can you go back to the previous screen before I missed something? Thank you, Barbara. We are going to be sending this out afterwards. So definitely just stay tuned. And then if you have any follow-up questions on that screen, you can just reach out to us and ask. Right. So another benefit to working with travel influencers is you're going to get beautiful photos out of it. Oh, what's the slide about? Okay, how to actually reach out to them. I made this, it's fine. So, you know, people are like, but how do I reach them? Like, what do I do? So you can either, or depends on what you want, you know, you can do both, either direct message them on Instagram, like on the platform of choice, or email them directly. A lot of times their Instagram bio or their website, if they have a website, will you know, list an email. So sometimes we do both. Sometimes we send them a more lengthy email with more details, and then we'll send them like a quick DM to be like, hey, we just emailed you, let us know if you're interested. And this way they're also like seeing your Instagram account and seeing that you're like a legit company, and they can kind of trace that back to your email. When you do reach out, just reach out and provide specific ideas of a collaboration. You know, what are you envisioning for this? Don't just leave it totally up in the air. Like, what will this collaboration actually entail? Is it paid? Is it trade? Is it unpaid, etc.? How many feed posts and stories you would like in return? You know, in the early days for us, with our hotel client, for instance, working with influencers, we wouldn't specify, and then we'd be disappointed when we only got one feed post out of it. Or, for instance, they wouldn't allow us access to their folder of photos they had gotten from us. You know, we specify that we want 2 feed posts, 3 stories, and we want to be able to repost all of your photos with proper credit after. Just make sure you're listing that out. Listing out your handle and that you'd want them to tag, and then any relevant hashtags you'd want them to include in their post, and then any selling points and language you would like them include. Obviously, just keep in mind that sometimes if you want them to be addressing specific selling points or using specific language, they might start to charge for that. You know, it depends on how much you're asking. And I know we have one chat, but just I want to quick point out this beautiful photo of Positano. I love this photo. That iconic view that everyone takes. And this is just an example, just to show more examples of an influencer collaboration. This was an influencer dangerous biz, and you can see that they collaborated with @Walks Tours, and they whisked this person away for a day for a beautiful part of Italy tour. It was super easy. We actually had free time in Positano and Amalfi in between train rides and ferry trips. Something good to keep in mind. Let's see. Some questions here I don't know if I can answer because they're a little bit more running a company specific and less social, but you guys are discussing it within yourselves, so that's fine. We can move on.
But I think the big thing here is setting the expectations for the influencers.
Yep.
Or else you're just not going to get what you want.
Nope. Some more ideas for during this time. So again, like, because you can't really whisk them away or give them an experience right now, like what else can you be doing? They can give away, you could have them give away a trip or experience like on your behalf for 2021. I feel like people are starting to look at 2021 for bookings, get this year out of the way. They can be giving away a significant monetary discount off a future trip if you're not comfortable doing a total expenses paid type of trip. They can give away a gift card to a company you work with or partner with. So even if it's not giving away your services or a trip per se, it could be giving away like luggage, travel magazines, travel essentials, just other kind of travel loving things. And then also another way to collaborate with an influencer, instead of them kind of doing a branded post, with a caption and everything like that, doing a conversation either on Instagram Live or Facebook Live. The whole live conversations thing, like Lauren was saying at the beginning of this, they've doubled during this time. People, I mean, it used to be that at any given time I would go on Instagram and you would like maybe see one account going live. Now it's like 12 at any given time. Everyone's going live. You could even invite them to have a live conversation with you or a rep of your team or someone else. Have them host it on their account, which I think is kind of important because that way you are going onto their account and getting exposed to all their followers as opposed to vice versa. And you can, you know, whatever you want to talk about is up to you. State of the travel industry, their future travel plans, things that they miss about travel, travel essentials. Favorite, you could talk about, you could, you know, make the subject a certain city that they're very into and that you also offer trips to, and kind of talk about favorites in that city, etc. Here's a cute little example from the Jet Setting family. I feel like I see a lot of travel family influencers, which is probably like the best life. Like imagine like you're a kid and you're just like, imagine that, like, and you're like, oh, what is like your childhood like? Oh, well, my dad was a travel influencer, so we just like went for free on like all these trips like all the time. Like, wow, must be nice, you know? So here's a little cute family, and they did a giveaway where they went to the national parks, whisked them away on a trip, and then they also gave away 5 national park passes, and to enter they had to follow them and, you know, everyone else. So just an example of a giveaway.
Okay, pushing local travel and staycations. So push traveling closer to home. Staycations are huge right now because I think people are still a little bit wary and they're going to be for a while. So CNBC recently published an article in which they spoke with multiple travel experts, and here's a standout quote that we found. The hypothetical the hypothetical trip incorporates several trends coming to the travel business going forward. These include traveler preferences for domestic destinations reachable by car and stays at private rental properties instead of crowded hotels and resorts. So this is like a good point here. Travelers tend to first venture out closer to home and visit their local eateries and stay for a local weekend getaway, and travel domestically before, you know, they go on these gigantic international travel trips again. And then people have also said, we don't know what's going to happen with flights, but we do know that we're going to be able to get in the car and drive for 3 hours and have our own place and stay there for 2 weeks. So, you know, if you have the opportunity from your business, you know, to promote trips that are closer to a certain location, I think this makes sense. It's kind of like the reopening strategy. The same with the travel industry. It's like, you know, I was supposed to go on this big international trip to Japan. Am I going to go to Japan this year anymore? No. But would I drive to like New Hampshire or like Maine or Vermont? Absolutely, 100% I would. So it's like kind of thinking about like this smaller radius around where your business is and how you can promote these shorter, safer in people's minds kind of destinations.
Yeah, and then if you even look like this example I screenshotted, I was just visiting like the Classic Journeys website. And I mean, this is a company that has many international destinations, but they chose to make their homepage the best of the USA. Explore trips in our own backyard. So, I mean, that's purposeful, you know?
Yeah. All right, so domestic travel, social content. So you could, you know, highlight some day trips by region. Like, you know, here's a road trip you guys can take this summer just to start getting out there. I know a lot of people are feeling safe, like, you know, driving cars. Like, I don't think there's that much of like a fear of that. I think it's mostly like this international, like getting on planes and like cruise ships kind of travel. So promoting day trips, road trips. You could even provide sample day trip itineraries, and you can create those according to the client type, like whether you're talking to family, like for families, here's an itinerary for couples, singles, etc. On a whim places, I love this, like places you can just get in the car and go. You know, you could even offer some social distance friendly ideas for when you get there, some off the beaten path trails and experiences in restaurants that shouldn't be as crowded, etc. I mean, this is the type of thing that's going to be happening within the next 2 months. Like people are definitely like getting sick of being in quarantine and they're going to want to like jump in the car and go. So giving them suggestions and itineraries and stuff like this could be really cool and helpful to your followers. And then we did mention this before, but this is something we're doing across the entire agency, all 50 of our clients, but always feature safety and sanitation procedures and standards for all of the experiences that you're promoting and the lodging. It just is going to make people feel safe. So just like, you know, even for our restaurants, it's like everyone's gonna be wearing masks, everyone's gonna be wearing gloves, we're still doing social distancing, we're gonna remain 6 feet away from you, don't worry about it, we're not gonna overcrowd this, you know, any of the amenities, any of these areas. So stressing those whenever you can and makes people feel safe. We're gonna have to do that for the next like year at least. All right.
Cool. So I think this is our last section, which is great because we will go through this and then we can open it up to any more questions you guys have or anything like that. So again, we wanted to kind of do some of the basic benefits of social advertising. We're not sure your everyone's expertise who's tuning in today. For those who don't know too much about social advertising, I mean, you just should. I mean, you know, there's so many reasons why. You know, one, you can reach a new audience. It's like, you know, one of the only ways to really do that effectively and quickly, and a targeted audience. But at the same time, for those who are not familiar with the Facebook and Instagram algorithms, you know, the timeline when people go and log onto these channels are not, it's not just like every single post that people have posted. It's an algorithm. So Instagram and Facebook are choosing what you see. So that's why you could have 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers, whatever it is. And maybe only 10% of your followers are actually seeing your content. Social advertising also helps your content get out there to your current followers. So benefits of social advertising, it is the new virtual travel expo for now, at least. Like I was saying, you can reach potential future customers through targeted advertising. You can targeting can get so granular, it's crazy. You could target based on interest, demographic, location, married, unmarried, recently engaged, likes to spend money, likes luxury things, likes nature, whatever it is, you know. You can do, which is really cool and very, very effective. A lookalike audience based on current customers. You could basically enter in your like current customer information, whether it's from your Facebook page or an email list, and Facebook will automatically populate an audience that looks similar to them, that behaves similar to them, which is really, really cool. And then, like I said, like life events, recently had a baby, is engaged, whatever, moved. And then just another fun little graphic here. If you Google kind of social media stats, you'll see in comparison, there's many different graphs based off it, but like in comparison to traditional medium, it's way cheaper. It just is. So where the cost per result for like direct mail is $57 per result, social media, it's $250. So just, you know, think about it.
Very cost effective.
It's definitely cost effective. This WordStream is kind of known, I think, as kind of the go-to for Facebook and Instagram benchmarking for both engagement, impressions, and ad clicks. So some more good news for you guys, which I know we could all use. The travel and hospitality industry actually has the second lowest cost per click of all industries. So cost per click is the cost per, you know, someone clicking on your post and going to your website or reading more or whatever it is. You're only beat by apparel. So if you look at this, this is the cost per click. And I believe this is 2020s, not 2019s. Apparel is 45 cents, so it's the cheapest one. You guys are only 63 cents to get someone to click to your website and learn more about your company. If you think about that, if that's a qualified lead, if you're targeting your audience, that's so worth it. You could even see in comparison, like the finance and insurance industry. We work with both of those industries, and we've seen it ourselves. It's definitely a higher cost per click. They have it at $3.77. So you know, that is one good thing.
Yeah.
So some social advertising concepts, again, for catering to like the current climate, offering exclusive deals with no risk commitments. I feel like the whole like no risk commitments, you can cancel anytime, you won't be penalized, whatever it is something people really want to see right now. They are nervous about committing to future travel plans. But if you're offering it at no risk, I think they'd be much more likely. You can promote even future trip vouchers with a bonus offer. Commit to spending X now and you'll get X as a bonus when you're ready to book. Pushing 2021 dates as something to look forward to, and then using some ad money to boost views on a contest or giveaway. So for instance, if you are running one of those giveaways or contests with people sharing memories or photos, whatever it is, I would just always recommend putting some ad money behind that, so your post can actually be seen by your current followers, but then also you could be reaching some new followers who might want to share their travel memories as well. It's a good way of getting new leads and followers and a surge of views for your business. That's it. We are, just so you know, in addition to some very special crisis communication services we've put together for this time only, we are also offering free consultations. So if you just have any questions about this, if you want to talk social, if you want to talk social for your business, we geek out over this. We love this. So just email us, info@metromedia.com, very easy, and we can set up either a Zoom or a call or whatever you guys want. And I think that's it. I think the next slide is just like questions.
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
All right, so if you guys have any questions, you want to post them in right now, but can I ask a question?
Yes.
You guys did talk about overall paid advertising and such. So give a sense of what's a good site. Well, one way to get an organic followers, right? So like when people have followers, how do you qualify them as good followers, and how do you grow them organically? Is paid the only way to go, or is there other ways and other tips you can provide for that?
Yeah. So we usually do a combination of paid and organic follower building. So like Lyssa was saying, you can do Facebook ad, page likes ads. You can do, Instagram doesn't have a follower building ad capacity, but we'll still run ads and say, follow us on Instagram. But organically, so basically you kind of do a bunch of community work. So if you take Instagram as an example and you think about where your business is, so the most recent thing I've done for this is Microsoft Atlanta. So I'll just talk about that. So Microsoft is launching like a new place in Atlanta. So basically all we do is just research. We go on Instagram, we search Atlanta, Georgia, and we find all of the accounts that are around there, whether it's like, you know, you kind of start with businesses that are related to your business. So for Microsoft, it would be like tech companies and universities and stuff, and you just mass follow all of those to get like the right following back and to build your following that way. And then you also look at location tags, so like the geo tag of Atlanta, Georgia, and you go through and you just like, comment on photos from Atlanta, Georgia, follow a bunch of people in Atlanta, Georgia, And then the third way is you look at the local hashtags. So there's a hashtag for any location where your business is. So the number one in Atlanta, Georgia is just hashtag Atlanta, but then there's also hashtag ATL or hashtag Atlanta GA. You basically search those hashtags on Instagram and just start interacting and following people on those hashtags. And basically, like, you want to spend as much time as possible doing this sort of community work in a location. Like, we try to do it like an hour a day when we're building up someone's following from scratch. But even if you just have like 2 to 3 hours a week to spend on that, it's just the more community work and engagement you do in the local area, the faster you'll grow the following.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it really kind of makes sense. You can't expect people to reach out to you if you're not first reaching out to them. So it's really literally just getting social on social media. And then a way to, you know, that we would qualify to a customer if their audience was a good audience that they've gained is if they're engaged. So for instance, if you have all these followers, but then your engagement rate, you know, the amount of engagement you're getting per the number of customers you have, if it's way lower than industry averages, then you probably actually don't have a good following. You'd want your engagement to be high, and that's how you know that it's the right following for you.
So for example, like if you see someone that has like 1 million followers, but they only get like 30 likes on each post, that's like a really low engagement rate. You would want the engagements to be higher than that. Oh, and one thing that we forgot to mention, Lyssa, that's also good for building the following we talked about in this presentation is working with the influencers and hosting giveaways on social media is a great way to like boost your following really quickly.
You get hundreds.
Basically, to like enter this giveaway, you have to follow us and the influencer to enter. You can get like hundreds of followers that way.
Someone said, hi, would you target on Facebook more on travelers who are still at their homes or when they are already at their destination? Now speaking about the time after COVID-19, I would say still in their homes so that you can get them when they're planning a trip.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Any advice on how to go forward with attracting day locals, casino trips back? Yeah, I mean, do a targeted audience of local people who are interested in gambling and casinos, and then also making sure that you are definitely listing out safety procedures and protocols. Mm-hmm. Maybe even giving some sort of incentive, a bonus offer, spend X or something like that. Do we have any other questions? What about TikTok? Lauren, you could take this one.
So TikTok is actually, especially with everyone on quarantine, it's becoming like a widely used social media channel. I will say that the demographics for TikTok are very young. They do skew very young. So if you're going for like people that are probably going to be able to travel, you know, and spend money and stuff, you might not need to be on TikTok.
If you're trying for like a spring break ad,
yeah,
TikTok.
I think it's basically like, it's like, I'd say like 14-year-olds to like, if you're 30 and you're on TikTok, people make fun of you and say you're old because like they make fun of me.
I make fun of Lauren all the time. It's like, what are you doing, millennial?
Yeah, but the thing is that what's interesting about TikTok is like, you know, if you could have potential clients that could be like in their 20s maybe, and you think that that could be like a potential marketing opportunity, I think it's a place where all brands aren't taking advantage of yet. So if you get on TikTok and you do something really funny and go viral on TikTok, like it's literally made some musicians like famous just from going viral on TikTok. And what I would recommend is doing something funny. So if you have like maybe like a travel fails thing or I don't know, like some funny thing related to your travel business, because the things that go viral on TikTok are usually like really funny.
Someone asked, and I'm sorry, please forgive me. Someone asked about using it for Kontiki travelers, which I hadn't heard of Kontiki. So now I'm Googling it. I don't know if I understand it from a quick 18 to 30-year-old travelers. Thank you. And I think I mean, it's there, but I mean, can I say one thing really quickly?
Yeah.
I don't think for that audience it would hurt, but I do feel like also it might not be worth your time to like learn it and do it. And you might want to just, if you're like, you know what I mean? You might want to just invest more time and money in Instagram.
Well, what I was thinking is like, instead of creating a whole TikTok channel and like having to post content on it all the time, because it really takes a long time to grow a following on TikTok, and it's hard to do. You have to be like really good at it.
And I have a question. There's no advertising, right?
So there is.
Oh, there is.
So that's what I was gonna say. You should run an ad on TikTok. Like look into TikTok ads, because like I actually get them all the time. You know that house party app that like everyone's using in quarantine to like, you know, play games with their friends. I get that ad on TikTok all the time, and it's like one of the only ads I'm getting. So the competition there is less when it comes to advertising. So I actually would recommend that if you're looking for that demo.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions as we have our last 4 minutes? No. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys covered a lot. And as mentioned, we're going to throw an email out to everyone who registered and more. Those we'll have the presentation. We will have the recap of the video. So thank you guys so much. If you have any more questions, we will also have Lauren and their contact information there, so feel free to reach out. Reminder that this webinar series is every Wednesday between now and June 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern time. To see the topics and presenters and rewatch past presentations, you can go to the website, thedestinationshow.com. Next week is tourism. Tim Warren, he'll be discussing the psychology of tourism buyers, why they buy, and how to get more of them to choose you. So do check in on that one. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys broke us. We were over 100, so you guys had a great participation, and we totally appreciate everything you guys done. Hashtag thank you. All right, everybody.
You're welcome.